Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Um, Welcome back. My name is Isaac, and we are going to continue with our lesson on morphemes. You recall in the previous classes, we're discussing morphemes, and we looked at the different types of morphemes. We also described a morpheme itself. Um, and I mentioned earlier that you can describe morphemes in terms of their structure or in terms of their meaning. And in the previous class, we also mentioned that you can have a bound morpheme or a free morpheme in terms of meaning. The free morpheme can stand on its own and make sense, so it can be a word in itself, while the bound morpheme has to depend on the free morpheme to yield its meaning. And then we also said, in terms of structure or makeup, morphemes can be described as root or affix. Now, in today's class, we're going to look at the difference between a base and a root morpheme. What is the difference between a base and a root morpheme? And then we also look at the different types of affixes that we have. I mentioned earlier that we have prefix and suffix, but there are other types as well. And then we're going to look at that more in today's video. So, base morpheme. What is a base morpheme? The base morpheme is the morpheme in a state before it takes on another morpheme. If you have a morpheme in its original state before it takes on another morpheme, that original state is called the base. For example, uh, fame is a morpheme. And remember, we said a free morpheme can be a word, or it can have meaning by itself, independently. So, fame is a morpheme and is a base morpheme because it doesn't have any other morpheme attached to it. There's no an affix attached to it. So, it is in its base form. But this morpheme can take on uh, another morpheme. It could be another free morpheme, or it might be a bound morpheme. But once this original morpheme takes on another morpheme, then it becomes root. So we have famous here. Famous is now a root because it has fame taking on this morpheme, this bound morpheme, to give us a word, famous. We can call this a root or a stem. And we can call it a stem because it can also take another, or it has the ability to take additional morpheme. We can add something like this here, and this will be infamous. So, a root morpheme is that morpheme which has taken on another morpheme. It can be a root or a stem, and it means it has the ability to take on yet another morpheme. This is base. All of the words we have here, all the morphemes we have here, are in their base form because they haven't taken on any other morpheme. They are just in their base form. Here we have these morphemes taking on bound morphemes, so we can call these ones roots. So this one base, then the base, if it takes on another morpheme, it becomes a root. And it is a root or a stem mostly because it has the ability to take on another morpheme. So we can even say regard, disregard, disregarded. Can add another morpheme here. Can add another morpheme there. So we have our root or stem taking on more morphemes. Now, how about affix? Affix or affixes are the bound morphemes that you add to your root morpheme or the free morpheme. And there are different types of affixes. I mentioned earlier that if you have uh, these bound morphemes, there is a way you place them. If you want to add them to the free morpheme, there's a way you're going to place those bound morphemes. It's not something you do haphazardly. There is an order you're going to place these bound morphemes if you want to get a meaning. For instance, if I have uh, this bound morpheme here, I'm not going to put it before uh, the base morpheme. If I put it before this base, it will not give me a meaning. It's not going to be meaningful. It has to go in front. I have this plus regard. If I put this in front of regard, it's not going to give me a meaningful word. There's no word as regardless. I don't think there's any word like that in English. So I have to, if I want to get a word or a meaningful word, I will have to put this bound morpheme before the regard. So the bound morpheme will come before the free morpheme. In that case, I am having my bound morpheme here. This one, board, this is the bound morpheme. I won't put the bound morpheme after the free morpheme. That way, I won't be able to produce a meaningful English word. The bound morpheme will have to come before the free morpheme. How you order this depends on the meaning of the word and how you understand word formation. So, what we're trying to achieve here is the different types of affixes that you have and then how you can identify them. Your suffix. Your suffix is that bound morphemes that comes in front of the free morpheme. You have your suffix after the free morpheme. So here, us is coming after the fame. After the fame, then you have your mouse. This one will be the prefix because it is coming before the root word or the free morpheme. The prefix comes before the free morpheme. So this would be a prefix, this would be the suffix. Here we have the prefix, so because the bound morpheme here is coming before the free morpheme. Here we have the bound morpheme coming before the free morpheme, so this is also prefix. Then how about this? We have infix. So infix should be, say, a bound morpheme that you insert in the middle of say, two morphemes. You have two morphemes and then you have one coming in between these two morphemes. It could be two free morphemes or a free morpheme plus other bound morphemes. But the one that is in the middle, will be your infix. There are not many words in English with infixes. So I just have a couple of words here to show you as an example. Mother-in-law. Now this is our word. This one will be the infix. It's a bound morpheme, but it's coming in the middle. And we have cup, which is our free morpheme. The S here makes it cups. And you have full, it's another bound morpheme. But we have this bound morpheme in the middle. So this one is the infix. We have cups full here. So the infix is the S because it is in the middle. Um, there are also um, circumfix. This is circumfix, but you don't have so many words with that kind of affix. So these are basically the main types of affixes that we have. You have a suffix, that is a bound morpheme coming before suffix is the bound morpheme coming after the free morpheme. Prefix is that bound morpheme that you have before your free morpheme. The infix is the morpheme you have in between two morphemes. I hope this helps. So you now know the difference between the base morpheme and the root morpheme. The base morpheme is the morpheme in its original form before it takes on any other morpheme. And when it takes on another morpheme, it can be a root or a stem. And it can be a root or a stem because it has the ability to take on even more bound morphemes. You can bring together two free morphemes. Remember, we mentioned that in our previous class that you can bring together two free morphemes. It's very possible to bring together two free morphemes. And you have example, say here, which is a free morpheme, man. So you can see chairman, chairman. You can even add another bound morpheme to this. You say chairmanship. So you have chairmanship. You can bring together two independent morphemes or two free morphemes to give you a root word. And this root morpheme can take on another bound morpheme to give you one word. So you have chairmanship. I remember we also learned that if you have two free morphemes together, the word that will result will be a compound word. And there are different ways you can write compound words. This is one way you can write a compound word with hyphens. Some words are hyphenated. Sometimes you write these two words together, these two free morphemes. You can write them together to produce one word, as in chairman. All right, so this is it about base morpheme, root morpheme, and then the different types of affixes that we have. Thank you.